All right, so first one over again because I forgot to record. We did the chain rule, so 3 times the function to the second power times the first derivative of the function, and then you stick the 2 in and solve. All right, second one. How do we do this? Chain rule again. So it's 4 times x over x minus 2 to the third times the first derivative of the inside, which is a quotient rule. So it's x minus 2 times 1 minus x times 1 all over x minus 2 quantity squared. So this one takes a little bit more work here. So it's 4, and then what I'm going to do is write it as x cubed over x minus 2 cubed. And then what's x minus 2 minus x? Negative 2 over x minus 2 squared. So in the end, this becomes negative 8x cubed over x minus 2 to the fifth. You good? Okay. This is just straight chain rule. This isn't too bad. What do you get?
4
Times what?
12x.
12x squared. So you might be written as 48x squared times 4x cubed minus 3 to the third. Okay? So you'll have a few like that. This one.
Oh, I have no clue how to do these ones.
Chain rule. Because this is really cosine of x to the fourth power, which is 4 times the cosine of x to the third power times the first derivative of the inside, which is negative sine of x. So it's really negative 4 sine of x cosine to the third of x. That's how the answer will probably be written. Okay? Okay, how do we do this one? Chain rule, chain rule. The sine of 2x to the fourth power. So it's 4 times the sine of 2x to the third times first derivative of the inside is cosine of 2x times the first derivative, which is 2. So it's 8 sine cubed of 2x cosine of 2x. Good? Find dy dx for this. What is this called? Implicit differentiation. So it's 8x minus 2x dy dx minus 2y plus
12y dy dx equals 0.
There we go. Okay. So, the dy dx's stay on the same side. So I'd go 12y minus 2x dy dx equals 2y minus 8x. Divide by 12y minus 2x. Divide everything by 2. So dy dx equals y minus 4x over 6y minus x. Dy dx. What's the slope of this function at 2, 1? What do?
You do the last thing first, the implicit.
Yep, you do implicit differentiation. So it's 4y dy dx plus 6x dy dx plus 6y minus 6x, right? Equals 0. So then, moving those to the other side, so we get dy dx times 4y plus 6x equals 6x minus 6y. And divide by 4y minus plus 6x. And then just plug in numbers. So put in a 2, put in a 1. You get 12 minus 6, which is 6. And 8 plus 6, which is?
No.
4 plus
No, it's 4 plus 12, which is 16, which is 3/8. Thanks for helping me out. If G prime of negative, find G prime of -2, or the first derivative of G at -2, if G and F are inverses, and G of -2 equals 5, and F of 5 equals -1/2.
-2.
Do you know how to set this up?
I can never remember which one goes on the outside.
It's F or
The first derivative of f of g, right?
Yeah. So then G of -2 leads to 5, which F of -5 leads to -1/2. So it's 1 over -1/2, which is -2, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. You just put 1 over.
What is the value of, if G and X are inverse functions of each other, what's the value of the first derivative of 4 of G? So you have to take F of G of 4 like that, right? What's G of 4? 0. So what's F of 0? 4. Or should it be the derivative? I wonder if I was missing a derivative symbol on this one.
And then don't you multiply by the derivative of g afterwards? Yeah.
I'm thinking you might, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's 1 over the derivative of f of g of -2 times the derivative of g at -2.
But we want to know what the G first derivative of G of -2 is.
I never get these ones.
Because it should be the derivative here, right?
Yes.
The derivative of F at G of 4. So G of 4 is 0. The derivative of G of 4 is 8, so it should be 1/8, right? I will check up on that to be sure in just a little bit. All right, I know how to do this one. Arcsine, x cubed. 1 over the square root of 1 minus x cubed squared times 3x squared, the first derivative of that. So it's 1 over the square root of 1 minus x to the 6th, and then, or else it might be 3x squared on top of that. Power to power, you multiply.
My bad.
Okay, all right. Arc cosine of 2x. 1 over the square root of, isn't it 1 plus for cosine?
No, because it's a negative one on top, isn't it?
Oh, it's a negative 1 on top. Because I don't have my note card in front of me. So 2x and then it's squared, right? So it's negative 1 over the square root of 1 minus, times 2. So it's negative 1 times 4x squared and times 2, which is really negative 2. Okay? Arctangent. So it's 1 over 1 plus 9x to the fourth, because you're squaring that, times the first derivative of that, which is 6x. So we're good at throwing those three out there, right?
Yeah.
What about this one?
No.
Multiple choice.
It is multiple choice.
Yes.
Let's make it multiple choice instead of multiple guess, though. Okay? This is the arc sine of x, right? So it's 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared. What's the first derivative of this? 2 over the square root of x, right? I think that's how it'll be written. And if it's not, then you have to get a common denominator by multiplying top and bottom of this one by square root of x, top and bottom of this one by square root of x squared minus 1. But I think that's how it's written. I will look in just a little bit once I'm off camera. All right, second derivative of this. What's the first derivative of this? 4 times 1 over, wait, no, that's a normal sign, isn't it? Yeah, times the cosine of x over 2 times the first derivative of that, which is 1/2, right?
Yeah.
So it's 2 cosine of x over 2. Now you'd have to take the derivative of that, which is negative, well, it's 2 times negative sine of x over 2 times 1/2, right? So if we do that, it just finishes up as negative sine of x over 2. Find the second derivative of this at negative 8/6. So the first derivative of this would be 2x plus 2y dy dx equals 0. So dy dx equals, move the 2x over, and then divide by the 2y. 2's cancel, so dy dx equals negative x over y. Okay? Second derivative would be the quotient rule of that. Y times negative 1 minus negative x times dy dx over y squared. So if you plug in the numbers, y is 6 times negative 1. If we go plus positive here, that'll help. Plus x is negative 8 times, what's dy dx? Negative of negative 8 over 6, which is 8 over 6, which is 4/3 over 6 squared. So it's negative 6 minus 32/3 over 36. Multiply by 3 on the top and bottom to get rid of your fraction. So it's negative 18 minus 32 over 108. Everybody follow what I just did?
Yes.
18 minus 32 is negative 50. So it's negative 25 over 54. That was fun. First derivative of the inverse cosine of 4x squared plus y squared. Negative 1 over the square root of 1 minus 4x squared plus y squared times the first derivative of this, which is 8x plus 2y dy dx. I would guess we'd stop right there. All right, so I'm going to stop the video, and then I got to look up